Welcome to another Ultimate Expression video. Today I am going to be reviewing 5 different types of guitar picks. I'm going to be starting with the pick I settled on when I first started playing guitar and my evolution since then and how I came back to that first pick. Let me show you the first pick I settled on was the pick from Jim Dunlop. It's the 46mm guitar pick. It is pretty thin pick. There's another one that's thinner than this. That's like paper thin, the 36mm. I went on a quest to find the pick that suited me to play guitar. This is the one I settled on. The reason I settled on the thin pick is because of the fan picking. I thought I could be faster. I also thought that it would be much easier to handle than a thick pick. When I first started playing guitar, I done guitar lessons and they just handed me a pick and I really didn't think about what types of picks to use. I just started with something that was like semi-heavy. I thought heavy was just too big of a pick. Some people told me that some people use pennies. I tried some pennies, I tried some nickels, I even tried some quarters. But I always came back to the thin pick just because of the playing dynamics and the fan picking at the time, tremolo picking, trim picking, whatever that you want to call it. It always felt right to me. Some of my other friends that saw that I was playing a thin pick, they always told me that a thicker pick would do better and you would get better response, you get better clarity, you get better volume out of your amps. At the time, I tended to believe them. I still stuck with the thin picks for a while. One of the other picks that I was turned on to was the Big Stubby. Now, this pick has a little center in there where you're supposed to be able to grip it well. But what I found on this one, it was a little bit smaller and I tended to choke up on the pick. And when I started playing with these, there wasn't much pick left. They tend to wear down pretty quick. But when I was doing like pinch harmonics, I didn't do them really well because I would wind up choking up on the pick. Even though this pick had the little ring in here for grip, I would drop these things when I was playing because the other texture around here is really slick. Semi-heavy pick. I don't know if you guys can make out that, but I think one of my old friends had a music store and he had these picks. But I played with these picks before. I usually find that people, when they give gifts, the picks are kind of a medium size right here. Some of the picks that I've played right here, they play really well. I'm able to hold on to them. But what I find on some of these picks is when you play with them for a while, they stay bent, but they don't wear down too fast. Still, it was a medium-sized pick. I didn't really like the medium size, but I mean, it played all right. Another example of a medium-sized pick. This one is one of the examples that I use. Like I play with it for a while, and it wears down pretty fast, but it bends and it stays in a bent shape. Especially if you're playing like a heavier string guitar, like a drop tuning or something like that, or even an acoustic guitar. But nonetheless, they really play well. This side's the picks really start to get heavy. When you play with them for a while, you do tell the difference when you make the jump from something that's really thin to a heavier pick. So that brings me to the 1mm pick. Now I started on a 46mm and I doubled the size of my picks. This is the size that I found that I just decided to stick with. Last 15 years I've probably played with this 1mm pick. Some of the Tortix picks. I like these because they actually came with a little grip on them, little powder, and they were easy to hold on to. There was plenty of pick that was left exposed on here. Get a close-up. See the pick right there? There's plenty of pick when I hold on to this. Plenty of pick exposed right there. So doing pinch harmonics, fan picking, anything, like you had plenty of pick there. And recently I decided to go back to the 46mm pick. But I tell you, playing with the 1mm, I really liked having the edge on here to tap with. I didn't do too much of the tapping with the pick in recent years. When I first started playing guitar, I did more of that. I don't know. Some people told me that was cheating when you played guitar. I was young then. I was in high school. I didn't know any better. So I didn't do as much tapping with the pick. I still do it every now and then. And I learned a lot of other people tap with the edge of the pick. They really had a good surface to do the tapping on. But one thing about these picks is when I started doing pick slides with these, it sounded horrible. And that's kind of the premise of this video, is the pick slide. I saw a video from Dweezil Zappa, and he was talking about Eddie Van Halen played with basically a really thin pick, you know, like I started with. At the time, a lot of people were telling me, you know, the 1 millimeter, the heavier picks is what everybody uses. One of the things that Dweezil said in his video was, you know, how Eddie had microphone stands lined up with picks. He also picks up and down his guitar. He threw picks out a lot, and one of the reasons is because the picks that he used were so thin. When he done the pick slides, the edge of the pick would wear down. So he had these little crinkles or whatever on the side of the pick. But to me, those made really good dynamics when you do the pick slides or anything, the scrubbing of the strings when you play. After seeing that video, I went back and I got me some 46 millimeter picks that I started with. And I gotta tell you, I like it much better. I used to think that me switching amps or switching guitars had an effect on the pick slide. It wasn't the guitar, it wasn't the amp that was causing the sounds of the pick slide. It was this really thick pick that was making the pick slide sound horrible. So one of the things I'm gonna do for you today is play through with some of these picks and let you hear some of the dynamics. This is the pick that's been chewed up on the sides. This is a 46 millimeter pick. This is where I started, and this is what I've gone to today. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of demonstration of some fan picking. This is the next pick, the Big Tubby. I mean, you heard what I had to say about it. So let's get to some fan picking. Little bit floppy, stays bent. Starting to get a little heavier here. Fan picking again. Maybe you can hear on the fan picking how my pick, at least my pick at this point, starts to get stuck into the strings a little bit and starts to slow me down. And it's more than likely the angle that I'll hold the pick. I'm not really worried about correcting my picking method, so. 1mm. Jumping straight to the 1mm. Let's get into the fan picking. I like to do some open fan picking, some palm muted fan picking, but this sucker is stout. With the 46mm, you can hear the dynamics. When it gets the crinkles along the edges, it gets kind of chewed up. You can hear a lot of the dynamics. A lot of dynamics across the pickups. This one right here stays smooth on the end, so hear how it washes out back. I just seem like I get less dynamics off of this one. The 46mm pick has my stamp of approval for now. And that goes back to what Dweezil said in the video. So hope you enjoyed this episode of a little pick rundown. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you go back and watch some of these videos for my guitar playing and some of my guitar setups, and you'll find them on my playlist. Search guitars if you don't know. What are you doing if you don't know? Thanks for tuning in to the vlog Ultimate Expression in 2025. I will talk to you guys in the next video.